Welcome to one more week of KTV. I'm Karen Reeves-Toppin, welcoming you for another show. I'm your accountability coach and so pleased that you could join us for another week of KTV. Remember, KTV is here for you if you are an entrepreneur and you are looking for a platform or a space where you can come on and talk about your business, talk about your project, talk about your whatever you are working on at the moment, and you want to get your information in front of a wider audience. Please get in touch with me on keyinspirations@gmail.com. That's KIINSPIRATIONZ@gmail.com, and I will book you a slot on the show. There's no fee. It's absolutely free. I'm here for you because my interest is to help you to elevate yourself. My guest this week is a lady who I met while I was scrolling through looking for a platform where I could get some information as a Christian business owner and a female Christian business owner. And I came across this particular platform, and what caught me was the alliteration. Those of you who know me know that I'm a little bit of an English buff. I love the English language. So when I could see a platform that was called featuring faith-filled females, I was like, yes, I want to know what this is all about. And I met the founder. Well, I say met because I've not met her in person. But ladies and gentlemen, today you get to meet her with me. And I want you to help me to welcome the CEO and founder of Power Up Coaching, Mrs. Netty Bryan. Annette, welcome to Key TV.
Hello, thank you, Karen. It's absolutely wonderful to be here. Thank you so much.
I'm really, really happy to have you here because there's so many questions that I had once I had joined your Facebook group, and I'm so glad to get an opportunity to talk to you face to face and also to share you with my viewers and with the rest of the world. So
yes, my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to actually share. Thank you.
All right, are we all set? Ready?
Okay.
Let's go. All right, so is it okay if I call you Netty, yes?
Absolutely. Everybody who's my friend calls me Netty.
Yay, I'm a friend.
Certainly are.
Okay, so Netty, you, as I was looking at your bio, you have done so much. There's so many groups. Your website talks a little bit about you, but then there's so many other groups which are under you. So could you start off by telling us a little bit about Netty, what encapsulates Netty?
Yes, I think, with all of my 50 years plus on the planet, there's quite a lot, and that's probably why my profile is so large and big. But really what encapsulates Netty is the fact that my purpose is solely to bring, my gifts and talents to the marketplace in order to help other women of faith, non-faith as well, to develop their gifts and callings so they can truly shine for God in the earth the way that we are meant to. So that's really my primary, and I really love what I do. So I under the umbrella of literally training, equipping, edifying, and then releasing women into the marketplace so that they can fulfill their God-given purpose. So that's really what I'm about.
Wow. Okay. So it's training and equipping faith-filled women to discover their purpose and get it out into the marketplace. Yes?
Absolutely. Training, equipping, edifying, and releasing. Absolutely.
Training, equipping, edifying, and releasing. Wow. That is that. But that takes a lot, doesn't it?
It does.
How long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years. I started off as a social entrepreneur because my background is in the social care field and health and social care field. And, I worked obviously for companies, public sector, for a very, very long time. And then, for one reason or another, I was being led to go into business for myself because, sometimes when you're in the corporate world, things may happen, you get uncomfortable, and you sort of, like a round peg in a square box. And I just did not fit. I would zing and they would zang, and it would be like, okay, I know that I'm called to bigger and greater. And, I've always been one to help people. I just have a heart of service. That's just been my trademark. I care for you and I coach you. That's one of the values and the promises within my business. And I guess, as a Christian, of course, everything that I do stems from my foundation of faith. So it doesn't matter whether, I am talking to someone who's a non-believer or a believer. It just naturally flows through me. And, a lot of people want to work with me because they really want to understand how is it that they can bring their faith forward in their business. And I think that's a big issue for, in particular, women of faith, right? Of any faith, in fact. How can you really portray your true beliefs and your values in the marketplace without being penalized? And I don't, the reason why I say that is because, there was an area in my life where that was a problem. I was penalized for being who I was, not necessarily. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it nearly cost me my job. Wow. So, it's those kinds of challenges that prepare you for the next level, because the thing is, when you're working in an area where things are not so, how can I put it? Okay, for example, so certain things you can't speak about, so how do you show up? And that was it. It was, how do you show up in your authentic self, be who you're called to be, and still carry out your job, still carry out your role. And sometimes those things can come into conflict. And it's about teaching you how to be your best selves, handling those situations, also whilst, being able to carry out the mandate, because I believe there's a huge mandate in my life, carry out the mandate and still meet, and honor God in the process. And that was really important to me, to be able to do that. And when I found that tight spot, if you like, really within corporate and public sector, it was time for me to move on. And that's what spurred me into entrepreneurship in the first place. Yeah.
Well, that leads very nicely into the next question that I was going to ask. I was going to ask you, what did your calling into this type of ministry look like? But you've just gone through everything, all of the different situations that you faced and the reason why you decided to come out of corporate and into entrepreneurship. And I think your testimony regarding, how it's sort of, how should I say, how censored the situation had become regarding sharing your faith. I was thinking, I think it was about 2 or 3 days ago, how strange it is that other people can spew and talk about what it is that they believe, and they can share all of their opinions and so on and so forth. But when Christians begin to talk about what we believe, and we begin to stand on the word and speak the word, it's always that we're being homophobic, or we're being hateful, or nobody wants to hear that. And it's very hard to show up as someone who is a faith-filled individual, whether you're female or male. It's difficult to show up as a faith-filled person. So is that's something that you focus on in one of your teachings? Is it in your group?
Yes, absolutely, Karen. And I think, I think that's a really vitally important part, because, as a Christian, you make a covenant to stand on your faith. You make a covenant to stand on the values that you believe in, okay? And when you're placed in a position where you might have to feel like you're watering those down, it then compromises who you are authentically. Yeah. And of course, it's taken me a while. It wasn't an easy road, because there was a period of time in my career where I actually shut down because of a circumstance and a situation that really challenged me. But when I really stood in my power, and, God said to me, whose report will you believe? Who is your God? At the end of the day, are you serving man or are you serving me? And when you get that revelation, there's something that becomes unstoppable in you. You just put aside everything and you say, you know what, God, you've taken me through this challenge in my life. You've taken me through that challenge in my life. Why is it that I become, O ye of little faith, for this one? And when I got that insight about that, I'm not joking you, Karen, it really changed my outlook. It changed how I stood up and how I stood out. And, you know, you mentioned, of course, my company name, which is Power Up Coaching. Well, again, originally I was working under nettyb.com, and I changed that when that insight came to me, because God said to me in that moment, I'm going to give you everything you need for this next part of your journey.
Wow. Okay.
For this next part of your journey. However, you need to go back to the book of Acts. That's what he said to me. Go back to the book of Acts, chapter 2. And that word, when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, he is going to power you up for the next level. And that's where the name of my business came from. That's where I call it my ministry business. That's where the name originally came from. And I'm not joking you, every step of the way, God has provided. He's sent the right type of clients. Amen. He sent me the right type of support and help. And it's, you know, it's been an absolute blessing.
Amen, amen, yes. Amen. Oh. Okay. I think I'm going to have to leave that right there.
Okay.
Or we're going to go down another road.
That's all right.
Which is not the purpose of QTV.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you said that you've got clients and you became a coach to people so people so that you can train, equip, educate, and then allow them to reveal their gifts in the marketplace.
Yes.
Being a coach cannot be an easy thing. I mean, can I just share a joke with
yes, sure.
I actually thought that Netty was not in the UK. So I'm making the appointment with her and I'm giving messages like, I know that we're in a different time zone. It was only today that I realized she actually is based right here in the UK. So the reason I thought she was based overseas is because I realized she had quite a few clients from the USA. So I thought that that's where she was. But as a coach, Netty, I mean, obviously you've got clients who are here in the UK, based in the USA, and you were sharing with me in other parts of the world. And yet you said that you are someone who cares, you really care. Is it possible for you to care about each and every one of your clients? Or do you think that you can be an effective coach without that level of care? Can you just teach someone without caring?
Yes. I think that as women, let's just speak to women for a moment. As women, we have a natural ability, God-given ability within us to nurture. And the other thing about that is when I work with a lot of what we call branding with archetypes. And I think when you understand your archetype and your characteristic, your intrinsic characteristic, and mine is ruler for my money, my sacred money archetypes, nurturer and romantic. And when I look at the nurturer and the romantic together, they naturally care. That's a naturally caring and sheep flocking, looking after the flock. You know, my background is pastoral. So, you know, I've been a pastor for many years prior to going into entrepreneurship. So I had a natural calling to look after people, hence why being a social worker, you know, in my profession, healthcare. So that was always a natural for me. And you know, as you say, looking after people one-to-one, how can I maintain that high level of care? I think you just have to purpose to make that your business mantra. And people need intimacy. People need great connection because you can show yourself caring by making it a promise within your business brand. That's how you do it. And then follow through by the corresponding actions. And you can show you care in many different ways. It could be how you onboard a client, for example. What's your process? How do you make them feel? You know, when they're connecting with you, are you somebody that follows up on time? Do you return phone calls? So there's different ways of showing how you can, you know, share that nurturing and that caring characteristic in business and dealing with your prospective clients.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now you're the founder and CEO of Power Up Coaching. Can you tell us what is the purpose of Power Up Coaching? And as it relates, I think I was speaking to you in relation to the selling of high net worth tickets and so on for coaching products.
Certainly. Power Up Coaching main aim is to help women, help female entrepreneurs and coaches to firstly learn how to sign on their new clients. So that's what we teach in the academy. We also teach them how to create irresistible offers and create packages that will sell themselves, and hence why I was doing that series which you're talking about, Karen, around high-end coaching. Okay, we also in the academy teach people how to overcome their money mindset, because as women we always have issues with how much do we charge, undervaluing our level of service based on certain things that we have endured, been through, and so forth. And then also within the academy, I teach people how to create what I call their special recipe. And that is their signature program and their signature system that they will learn how to do so that they can turn that into a high profitability product that they then serve their clients with. So it's a step-by-step process that they learn to turn their gifts into fruitful services. And then with what else we teach within the academy is unique branding. I mentioned the archetypes previously. So we teach them about unique branding with archetypes so they know how to show up, how to brand themselves online. And then, of course, not only that, they need to know who they are working with. So then we teach them around profitable niche breakthrough secrets. So it's not good just just learning about who you want to work with. You need to know what problem you're solving. They also need to know that they have the solution to solve that high value problem as well. Plus, marketing, sales, and even learning them how to create their own online courses, so much more under the umbrella as well. And really, I like to look at Power Up Coaching as a bit of a hub, and it's like a one-stop shop. You come in, you sit with us for a year, we train you, and that's why that term, train, edify, equip. So it's not just all about the practical things, it's not just about money, but you're getting faith setting as well. So setting your faith at a higher level so that you can actually feel confident in your skills, abilities, and in your God-given potential to get out there and serve who it is that you're called to.
Okay. Wow. That is a mouthful, and then some. There's so much, but
yes,
let me just focus in on what you said at the very end. It's a hub.
It is.
It's a hub where they can come, and it's kind of like a one-stop shop, is it? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And you said also they can be there for a one year period. So you're working with these people over the process of a year.
Yes.
Where they start in one location and they end in another location.
That's right.
How have you had, well, obviously there would have been some success stories, but can you share with us any stories of persons who came into your hub, stayed there for the year, and then at the end of the year they were not where they should be, and how you managed with that?
Yes, absolutely. And the one thing I'm going to say here is life happens. And, what we have that sort of sets us apart in the academy is we have the opportunity for people to be able to take breaks. And I think that is one thing that sets us apart, because sometimes when you go into coaching programs, it's you pay a fee. If you haven't finished, you still got to, you don't get an opportunity to come back. But I believe that that we need to make sure, in particular, I'm dealing with women, that we take into consideration the environment, the life around them. So when people come into the induction part of it, we really do a thorough induction, and we talk about environment, setting themselves up, getting them in the right mindset for the training that's going to be there. And, sometimes things don't go to plan. We've had people who've lost people, especially in the last year or so due to the pandemic and so forth, so we've naturally, it's okay, take some time out. We set an agenda for when they're going to come back in and re-enroll them back in at that specific point. So that's what we do. And that's part of me showing the care and the coaching, because I believe that once you sign up for something, even if you've got to that end point and you haven't quite completed it, my promise again to you is that you will get coached until you have actually got that result and that transformation at the end.
Wow.
So for example, if someone's come in and their coaching program is that they want to learn how to create an expert signature system, and they've only got halfway through, we may put that on hold, pick it back up until you've actually completed it. And that's the beauty of it. Of course, there's one-to-one coaching, of course, there's group coaching underneath that umbrella as well, live Q&As and so forth as well.
Wow. I mean, that is one of the most highly flexible programs that I have heard of. And this is great. You do it over a year. There's some that offer maybe a 6 months or 3 months, but it doesn't have the same flexibility.
Yes.
And as we know, you can enroll in a program today and something happens next week.
Yes.
And you can't carry on, but there's no flexibility to stop, to move, to shift, to adjust.
Yes.
And here you are on offering a year-long program where people have the flexibility of, if they can maintain it. But if something happens and you can't, then let's take a break, take a step back, deal with that, and then let's put your foot on the brake. But let's put your foot back on the accelerator.
Yes.
But there was something else that I noticed you said. You said that you make a note of when they can actually come back, which means that you set an appointed time, an appointed date for them to come back.
Yes, I do, because I think it's easy for people to stray. In fact, I've got an appointment after this particular video with you, this call with you today, with regards to somebody who's in exactly that same position. And, I think that's one of the things when you say you have to stand out in the market of one, I truly believe in that. And I think that's one way that I stand out in the market of one, because I know that I've been there myself. I've been in high ticket coaching programs where some things happened and I've not been able to continue within the allotted time. And I never got that opportunity to continue. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why I thought to myself, when I set my coaching business up and how I would want to run, what are all of the gaps that I saw that, in other people's programs that could really make mine set apart? And that was one of them. There's more, but that was one gap that I found. And I thought, wow, I can care, coach, and be flexible, because at the end of the day, I recognized that is exactly what I needed in my life at that time, was that flexibility.
What a USP. That is a beautiful, unique selling point. The level of your flexibility. Well done, well done, well done.
Thank you.
Now, there are many people who still, in spite of the fact that we read the word, we know what the word says in regards to us prospering and being in good health and being above and not beneath and so on and so forth. There's still many people that believe that Christians should not follow after the money. How do you respond when someone says, no, you're following after the money and we're not called as Christians to do this. You're on the wrong path. How do you respond to that?
Okay, so that is a huge question that I get asked quite a lot, being a money breakthrough business coach, of course, right?
I would expect so.
And the first thing I would say is we need to go back to understand the word. And I think that's the key thing. It's also about interpretation and really looking at, well, what does God really mean by that? Or what does the person who instilled that belief, because it's all about beliefs, right? Instilled that belief in you, what does it mean? And sometimes, as traditionalists, we take on our parents' sayings, we take on sayings from other people, and we make them our own. All right. So they're made up of assumptions and different things. The one thing I would say to address that is to understand the word kingdom. When you understand the word kingdom and you understand, the mandate behind someone who's kingdom minded, remember, we're about our Father's business. And when you take that word business and understand the gifts that have been given, and the anointing really is for the training, the edifying, the equipping, and the releasing. So, when someone says to you, are you chasing the money? No, but we know that in the word it says money answereth all things. So I know that I cannot help many more women, many more people across the globe, because if I don't have enough money to put bread and butter on my table, to maybe pay staff, to fast forward the work of the kingdom, then I'm doing myself and the calling of my life a disservice. That's my belief. So I really, really want to encourage, for those of you out there who's listening to this and you're struggling with that money mindset, to really think about it. How easy can you let it be to accept a new belief around that? How easy can you make it be? Because the thing about this is, my belief is this, and it's a statement I say to women all of the time: when good women get money, and especially when godly women have money, great things happen in the world.
That's right.
Right? Great things can happen. You can change lives. You can take that single mother who's struggling with 3 children and supply her need by supporting her. You can build water wells in Africa. You can build social housing. There's so much infrastructure and environmental changes that can happen when you have money. And actually, money is power. Money has a voice. Money speaks. So you can either quieten that down because you're too shy to show up about it, or you can get empowered to understand how you can use money. And really, how you do money is how you do everything, believe it or not. Okay. So I would really want to re-educate women, in particular about women of faith, because we're taught not to. We're taught not to have that belief that we should be rich, we should have money. Absolutely wrong. And we're not chasing the money. We're actually chasing service. That's what we're chasing. We're chasing service, because for me, that comes first. We're serving, selling. And as a result of the serving and the selling, then the money will come afterwards. Wow. That is a byproduct of the service.
Yeah. See, my thing would be that I'm chasing God. I'm not really chasing the money. I'm chasing God. And as long as I'm chasing God, he said that goodness and mercy will follow. Money, having money is a part of goodness, and having money is a part of being able to show mercy. And as long as I'm chasing God and he's called me to do something, I can't ever see a situation where he will disappoint me. And I love what you said about money has a voice, and it does, and it speaks so loudly, especially in our economy today. And those of us that don't have it, then our voices, we cannot really shout for the kingdom as much as we would want to. And it really is important for us to reassess the way that we view money and how we are going to use it at the disposal of our King in his kingdom. Amazing stuff. Thank you so very much. All right, great. So Power Up Coaching is open to faith females, and is it open to those who are not on the faith as well? Is there an amendment to the course, or is it done as you have laid it out?
It's done as I have made it out, because I've made it palatable for everybody to be involved in it. And, especially when I'm doing my coaching, I think it's important, because another part of the mission being, I need to equip and disciple women of faith so that they can feel confident to go out. But equally, there are women out there who have no belief system. And as the Great Commission is, whether you're evangelizing through direct outreach or you're evangelizing through your life, your business, I'm still called to that as my pastoral anointing. So I do that through the gift of entrepreneurship. And then I don't need to speak the Bible necessarily, but it naturally flows out because I believe I'm living the pages. And through my life is how people get connected to the God that I serve. He said, if I lift him up, he'll do the drawing. He'll do the drawing. That's not my role. My role is just to be in that place, to carry out the appointment, and the rest is down to him. So I never take on his role that he needs to be doing. I sit in with I sit in the place where I'm doing what I'm called to do, and then allow him and to do the rest.
Okay. This has all been very, very amazing. Really, really lovely. I've heard some things from you today that I haven't heard from, the many other coaches that I have encountered, and God knows I've encountered a good few. I've changed. I think I stepped into the world of entrepreneurship from 2015, and in between then and now, I've changed what I was doing probably about 10 times.
Right.
And it really has been a journey. But listening to you today, there is a sort of assurance that when we come to work with you, there is the assurance that we will not be left behind.
Okay. Yes.
You know, that the sort of care that is needed, the sort of concern, the sort of insight, the sort of discerning, and the sort of allowances that are needed for life to happen, but for us still to achieve the goals, achieve the God-given goals that we've been given, that we can still achieve them. And that's what I'm picking up from talking to you. And that's what I want to put out there to those who are listening or watching this episode, that this is what I'm believing that you will find if you want to work with Netty B. So how do we find you online?
If people want to actually get hold of me, they can have my online business card, which is call.nettyb.com. So that's call.nettyb.com. And that gives you access to my group, my emails, and everything there.
Great, great. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. So we've come to the point in the interview where now I ask you a curveball question. Okay. Did I tell you about my curveball question?
You can tell me about your curveball question.
All right. So curveball question is one that I ask you. It sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with what it is that you are actually doing as a business, but based on what I think and I know of you, it's a question that I believe you will be able to answer. Okay. So you all set?
Oh yeah.
All right. So today's curveball question for you, Netty, is you are designing a sports shoe for females. And I want to hear some of the components that you're going to make sure you consider when you are designing this shoe.
Okay. For a sports woman, I would consider durability. I would consider texture.
Okay.
Texture in the sense of, is it comfortable to wear on the foot? Durability, is it going to take that person, are they a 100-meter sprinter or are they a long distance runner, or, that's what I mean by that. I would also consider branding. What is the message that the shoe is representing? That's what I would consider. Absolutely. Okay. Really important. And I would consider, who is the woman who is wearing the shoe? Who is the shoe designed for? What role does she play in society? Where can she show up wearing this shoe? And all of those kinds of things, because I think for me, having a persona of who's wearing the shoe and who it's designed for is absolutely crucial. What are her habits? How does she behave? Does she have a dream? And can that running shoe take her to that end destination? Yeah. So that's kind of where my thought processes would be. And then I'd look at colors. What kind of colors represents that particular woman who needs to wear that shoe? What personality needs to shine through? Is she somebody who is spiritual? Is she somebody who is loyal? Is she somebody who is funny, energetic, cheeky? What kind of personality does that individual need to have? And then, of course, who does she want to share that shoe with? What are the types of people that she wants to share her shoes with? Because I'm all about reproduction. You see, if it's good enough to fit me, then I've got to find someone else that can share that shoe and want to fall in love with that design as well. Hence why I have my own t-shirts, and my own mugs. So there we go. So that's really where my mind would be around that.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. I'd like to know, let me just ask a follow-up question. I don't normally ask follow-up questions, but for the one who is cheeky and playful, what sort of colors would you be looking at?
I'd be looking at vivacious colors like yellows. Yellows, and maybe a hint of orange and purple. So those kinds of, cheeky, but they have a little bit of ruler in them and they know exactly what they want. Yeah.
Well done. Oh, wow. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that shoe on the market now. Netty, it's been really, really good. Very comfortable talking to you. You've shared so much. You've shared a lot from your heart. And I don't normally do this, but could I ask you, because the show is actually for entrepreneurs, not necessarily those only of the faith, but for all entrepreneurs. And could you share a word of encouragement for us? The world is at the moment just about getting ready to step out of what has been almost a year and a quarter for us in the UK, it would
Yeah.
have been a year on the 23rd of March that we were in lockdown. And we're now charting a path, like many other countries across the world, charting a path of getting out of this phase. Could you share a word of encouragement to those who have a small business and they are now looking for new avenues or new ways to position it? A word of encouragement, a word of advice.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. First and foremost, I acknowledged, the difficulties that are out there for each and everyone listening to this right now. And, the one thing I'm going to leave with you is that you need to step forward in faith. In this time, I'm a woman of faith, and that's what I got to lead with. Step forward in faith. And what I mean by that, just to quantify what I mean by that, is step forward in faith, knowing that you are already equipped with everything that you need for your next level. You might not see it right now, and that's what faith is. It's not seeing the things right now, but having the evidence, knowing that they're coming, okay? And you just need to know that you have more than enough already to step forward in faith. If you are of any age, you would have had some training, you would have had even a corporate life, and all you need to know is that you need to maybe find somebody, a mentor, a coach, or somebody that you can work with you to help you to pull those things out, because resourcefulness really comes from within. It doesn't come from an external source. So that's the one thing I would leave with you, is have faith in yourself that you have more than enough. All you need to do is get some clarity around what that is, understand your calling, lean on and partner with God as your CEO, because that's what I do in my business. When I first started, it wasn't me in the whole wide world, it was me and God. Okay, so that for me is crucial. Understand whose business it is, what type of business it is that you are looking to actually step into. Once you get that foundation right, then you really need to then get the right type of business advice, the right type of coaching to help you to push you forward to the next level. So really the things I'm going to say is fear not. Fear is literally false evidence appearing real. Don't worry about what's on the other side. That's not our job. The moment we step into doubt, unbelief, and all of those things, we're taking out that fear. We're taking out that faith, really, that seed of faith that we are planting to take us forward. So one thing I would say to you is pray about it, leave it with God, and then listen intently for the leading of the Spirit. Listen intently for the leading of the Spirit for the next step in the next phase. And if you want to gain clarity after that, seek out somebody who understands both elements, who you are. They understand the mandate on your life, because that was a big thing for some of the women that came to me previously. They wanted to work with a coach who understood the mandate on their life, who could tap into them, both mindset, both spirit, both their natural giftings. Okay, so find somebody like that, share your vision, but share it carefully with people who you know are for you. Don't share your vision with people who are going to stop you or going to halt you, who don't have the belief that you can do it, because you'll give up. All right. So my lovely, listening to this right now, I'm just going to say to you, step out in faith, march forward, because God is there and he's going to send the right people to you to help you to push your vision forward.
Wow. Destiny helpers are on the way. Did you hear that? Destiny helpers are on the way. Netty, thank you so very much for coming and sharing so openly, so candidly, so knowledgeably. It's really been a joy and a pleasure to have you. God bless you. May God continue to bless the works of your hands. May continue to bless your life, pour into you as you need, strengthen you, uphold you, and lead you down the paths that you need to go in order to go up to the next level. We never stop powering up in God. He always takes us from one level to another, to another, to another. Some people put it as from glory to glory, but I like to say that we're stepping up Jacob's ladder.
Yes,
going up to the heavens to meet our Lord. So thank you so very much. God bless you.
God bless you too.
And thank you to everyone who has watched Key TV today. I really hope that you've been blessed, encouraged, that you have learned something, that you've been edified, that you've got a little bit of training. And remember, in order to reach Netty, her social media handles and ways to meet her will be in the credits, but they'll also be pinned in the comments of this episode. And if you would like to get your slot on Key TV, remember, email me on keyinspirations@gmail.com. That's KIINSPIRATIONZ@gmail.com, and we will book you your slot on the show. So until next week, God bless you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you then. Remember, stay safe. Bye for now.